Code We Trust, and today we're going to do a quick video on a framework that I use personally to tackle interview questions, and it that helps me to check all the boxes my interviewer is looking for during technical or coding interview. All right, so first note is Google Code Documents settings. I personally recommend to at least practice, not like don't do all your problems in a Google Doc, because it's just gonna like drive you crazy, but at least have practice and get a feeling how it's gonna like feel and be different from your usual settings, because especially if you're preparing for Google or Facebook, that's probably the settings your interview is going to take place in. Once again, like practice writing your code in a Google document, because it is very different from your usual settings. Probably it's IDE, where you write your code, you have like highlights, you have I don't know, nice coloring of variables and function names. It checks your like parentheses and like indentation and stuff like that. You have auto completions, all of those nice things that help you write clean code. You don't get none of it in the Google settings. And the Google settings, again, is very different from lead code settings, because in the lead code settings, you have full description of the problem. You have a couple input examples with examples of output you need to present, and you have constraints. Most importantly, you have constraints like your I don't know, your input array can be from 1 to 100, or it can be like from 0 to whatever number. You have all that information that actually can be useful, can be additional hits, or is very useful to solve the problem. In actual interview settings, one of the boxes your interview has is deep problem understanding and ability to ask the right questions. So you need to show that you, first of all, when you're presented a question, first of all, you can like grasp information as your interview is given you, and come up with or understand like missing parts that you need to clarify. So that would be the first step. And once again, it is designed specifically that way, so the interview is probably going to give you incomplete information and check if you can ask the right questions and get that information from your interviewer. With that being said, at least practice, a couple questions, get a feeling how is it going to be to write code in a Google document settings. And on a dry run, I'll get it in a couple seconds. But second important thing is to have a framework to tackle every single question. You're gonna you need to have some sort of a template how you're gonna do it, because every question, every interview is probably gonna have a checkbox in a table, and you need to hit every single box to be able to qualify, right? It is very competitive space, so you want to maximize your chances, and the maximum boxes you hit, the better your chances, right? So the first step with every question is once again, ask additional questions about the input, clarify if you understood the question correctly, give an example of some inputs. Okay, if I right here I said test inputs, so come up with test inputs. Say if I have 1 2 3 4, do I return 4 3 2 1, or just clarify that you and your interviewer are on the same page. So that's going to check your first box, deep problem understanding. Second step is outline the approach, and have some notes when you fully understand the questions and start trying to come up with a solution. Or always you need to communicate and clearly explain your ideas. That's the second box. And while you do that, try to make some notes. For example, if it's a graph problem, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to use DFS or BFS, and you can write in comments. You can say, okay, one step BFS, then second step do a dictionary with some information, I don't know, note, stuff like that. So it's going to help you once you get to actually coding your ideas. But again, it helps your interviewer to stay in sync with you and see if you have any flaws in your ideas, or if you in general, if he or she agrees with your overall approach, right? So with that being said, outline your approach and have some notes on your approach, so you can always go back and check yourself. And with that being said, let's move to the next part, which is estimate time complexity and space complexity. It is a very important point, because all those FAANG companies and big tech companies, they're the first thing they prioritize is performance and optimization. So one of the check boxes is probably going to be can you comfortably can the candidate comfortably and correctly estimate time complexity and space complexity? And another box is going to be intuition about optimal solution. So you want to always bring it up yourself first, and don't wait for your interviewer to ask you what's time complexity or space complexity going to be. So like once you outline your approach, you can actually go ahead and in every single step say, okay, this step is going to take e plus v time. This step is going to be I don't know, like O of v. This memory. So and then and overall, and then to sum up, overall time complexity going to be this, and space complexity going to be this, right? Once you have it mentioned and better written down, you can go ahead and ask your interviewer, does he or she agree with you, um, and can you proceed to the coding part? And once we get to the coding part, like once you get your interviewer's approval, it's going to be something along the lines of, okay, I think we're good here, you can move on to the coding part. Once you get that confirmation, and once you start writing code, there are a couple of things you need to pay attention to. The first thing is code simplicity. Again, it's going to be like one of the boxes your interviewer is going to have. So like code simplicity, elegance, and organizations. You need to pay attention to how you name your variables and function names. You cannot just like name your function full. It's going to be like a red flag for your interview, and you like sometimes if I know, like probably your code is gonna, I don't know, be like 5 or 10 lines of code. So like you can be kind of lazy and name your variables like a dictionary or like result, answer, something general. But like always, and it's gonna be a red flag for your interview. Try to always name your variables and functions as specific as you can, like visited copies or visited or reversed array, sorted array, something like that. So it's not just like result, answer, or dictionary. Nothing that generic. Try to go to very specific variable names and function names. Try to avoid duplicates with, like, if you see you copying and pasting your code, make a function and say that, okay, I'm gonna make a function for this and like call it, so you don't duplicate code over and over again. That's another checkbox. And sometimes you might end up using creating a class or a structure to help you solve the problem. So that is something to pay attention to. The next point is coding speed. Actually, it is one of those check boxes your interview is going to have, because time is very limited, especially for your interview. It's going to be like 20 to 25 minutes per problem. So for one problem, you're going to get 25 minutes approximately. So it is very important to have a structure for your code and be as efficient as possible. The next thing is the next checkbox for your interview is probably going to be explain ideas while coding. So while you write your code, it's one of the hard parts, right? You need to be able to explain your ideas while you code your ideas. So it is something to get used to. So again, it's one of the checkboxes your interview is going to have. So you need to be able to hit it, right? And okay, next checkbox is probably going to be like knowledge of algorithms and data structures. While you code, there would be probably several approaches like one could use to solve the problem, and not all of them is going to be equally optimal. So it is very important to communicate your thinking process and choices you make. Like, for example, you're going to say, in some cases you can say, oh, I'm going to use this data structure because the access time is constant against I don't know, a different data structure where access time might be linear or log n time complexity. So you need to communicate to your interviewers that different approaches and their pros and cons, so you can hit this check mark. All right. Then the next step, the next checkbox your interviewer will probably gonna have is in case you need some hints or you came up with suboptimal solution, and he or she is probably gonna give you a hint or hesitate to let you proceed to the coding part. So you need to I don't know, ask you if if you finished coding and I don't know, you're done with your code, and you don't hear your interviewer jumping straight. Okay, now you're done with the question. Let's move on to the next one. It's probably if he hesitates to do that, probably means that you have some bugs or some typos. He or she is waiting for you to fix. So you need to pay attention to those small details and And then like even if I don't know if your interviewer sees a problem, he or she again gonna like ask you, okay, what's this variable, like do you actually need to store everything in your array, like is there any way to optimize this solution, like is there any way to optimize memory, or is there any way to optimize like time, do you need to sort it, like those kind of questions are probably the hints for you to, and you need to make use of them, good use of them. um, so that's one thing to pay attention on. Okay, and the next checkbox is code correctness. Code correctness is just like general, if you have like typos, if your code does actually solve the problem, that's why you need to do a dry run at the end of your at the end when you write your code, like, or even you can do a dry run every time you finish a function. But like again, you have to be mindful about it because you might end up out of time. So but overall code correctness is very important. And next, like probably next checkbox your interview is going to have is knowledge of programming language. Like so, during your coding part, you will face like different options how to implement I know, one thing or another. So like while you implementing, you can take a moment and like explain your thoughts and your choices, so you can convince your interviewers that you know as a programming language you use. You can like use shortcuts of the programming language. Mention some pros and cons of it, stuff like that. And at the end, like again, it is very important to do a dry run of your of the code you wrote. So your interviewer is probably going to have a checkbox of does the candidate test a newly written code? So you need to and try to do it in comments, like go line by line and check. Okay, like I assign a variable to this. Okay, then my stack going to contain those and those those and those values. Like go step by step and check yourself and make sure your interviewer does follow you. So there is no like second guessing. At the end, you know you solved the problem correctly, and your interviewer, most importantly, agrees with you that you have solved the problem correctly. So you leave no room for mistakes. Yeah, I think that with that being said, that's all I want to share with you guys today. So please, if you like the video, if you want to see any like new videos on me solving problems on LeetCode or using Swift, please subscribe. Subscribe, hit that like button, comment. But thank you and have a good one.